Pass get money is what some rapper or maybe just me has said at some point. Because let me tell you right now, if you're not following me on my Action Network, and you don't go to my social media at @furlongeric_, you have missed out on winning 9.95 units in the last 48 hours at the time of this recording on the Euro Cup. And I understand this is a NASCAR podcast, but I've said it multiple times at this point that we're going to talk about everything. And at this point, I'm making NASCAR not NASCAR, because they bend me over and fuck me sometimes in races. But I'm telling you right now, I'm making soccer my bitch. Okay. So, welcome to the Hot Pass Podcast. All right. We're cracking open a Monster Beast. We're in celebration of I'm going back to work finally after months. So, we're going to get into everything. But welcome to the Hot Pass Podcast. Make sure to go to the Hot Pass Podcast, wherever you listen to your audio podcast. Make sure to hit the notification bell, leave us a 5-star rate, whatever, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Then go over to the YouTube, go to the Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment on the videos. It helps the algorithm out. And then, don't forget to subscribe there. Then go to the link tree in the bio of all my social media, which my social media on X, Instagram, and TikTok is @furlongeric_. Look for the Hot Pass Podcast. Go to the link tree in the bio on my social media. Go to the Action Network. Follow me there. Then you can follow all my bets. So you can be a profitable motherfucker. Okay? That was a lot. Let me sip on my bevy real quick. Not sponsored by Monster Beast yet, but I'm telling you right now. Go to the YouTube right now. You're going to see the fit, and I'm drinking one of the red ones in the Yeti kind of thing that they gave me with the Nasty Beast logo on it. Everybody just tweet at or tag and DM Beast Unleashed on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, and just be like, Eric Furlong needs to get sponsored. Eric Furlong needs to get sponsored. That'd be a great time. You guys would be doing me a goddamn favor. Okay, let's do this. I guess I should probably pull up my notes, huh? So yeah, let's just talk about, first off, finally, after I haven't worked full-time since February, beginning of February. And I'll just go into this real quick. We're not going to get into too much of personal shit, but it's been a roller coaster, an absolute roller coaster since I asked for a layoff back in February. Ever since then, it's like, if you guys have been listening for a while, I'm usually a very open and honest person on the podcast. So I'll just say that, it was really tough. I asked for a layoff because I guess I should finally get into this. I asked for it because I was dating a girl, and at the time, she didn't want me to be away. I was going to have to be gone about 6-7 days a week, probably 2 hours away, staying down there the entire time, working on night shift. There was no signal in the place. I think I've touched on this on an early episode of the podcast. Talking about layoff and first guest. I think that's what it was called on the first one of the episodes, super early on. So go check that out. But, and then she got upset with me that I was sitting at, well, she didn't, but I was helping out financially with her parents or whatever. And she goes, her parents started getting pissed off that I was making, in the back of my mind, I feel like they were really pissed off at me making a lot of money and being able to travel, going to Atlanta, Vegas, Talladega, all this stuff, making EI, which is employment insurance or whatever, being very profitable, betting on NASCAR. And they were pissed off that I was traveling the world or traveling North America, having all this fun, and I didn't have to work. So there was a lot of hatred, a lot of animosity towards me in that household. And eventually, as you guys would know if you guys have followed me for a little bit, and if not, eventually it all blew up living there, and then ended up having to getting kicked out, and then ended up having to move back home for the first time in 10 years till we were going back to work and working full-time again, or trying to make this podcast a full-time gig. And so finally, since February, what is it now? June 20th. So the time you guys are listening to this, the 21st. I haven't worked one single day. I've just been betting on NASCAR, making good money, getting employment insurance, and fucking just relaxing. And I mean, for the last 6 years, I've worked extremely hard, 5-6 days a week, every single week, working my ass off. And then, to be honest, kind of gave me the time to be able to get this podcast up and running. gave me a bunch of time to be able to go and travel and then have fun and realize that there's more to this than rather just working your 9-to-5 job every single day. So now it's kind of give me the footnote of being able to, or just like the early steps of being able to trying to create my own business, be able to do my own thing, and then go back to work again and then continue this on. So now, when it comes to this, when races are happening, immediately after I have to go right away, record the podcast, get everything uploaded to YouTube so that first thing in the morning, the podcast is out for you guys on Monday mornings. And then the YouTube will be up later on Monday nights. Okay. So then you guys can watch it whenever during the week. And then obviously the Friday morning betting show shouldn't be an issue. The company that I'm going back to work for, I started off originally in my apprenticeship the first couple of months. And I know that Fridays I usually just work 4 hours. So the Friday morning betting show will usually be able to be available first thing in the morning, like always. But then the YouTube will be able to be available later on Friday afternoons, I would think, as long as everything's going well. Okay. So I just wanted to give you guys a bit of a life update, what's going on. Let's touch on a couple other things, and then we'll move on to the NASCAR series, all right, and all the bets that we have, because this is the Friday morning betting show, baby. This is where we make bags. Last week in the Cup Series was a little rough, but we've made it all back, baby, and more on the Euro Cup. So this is why you guys have to go to @FurlongEric_ on all my social media platforms. Go to the Linktree, go to the Action Network. Not a sponsor. Maybe at some point get a sponsor from the Action Network. That would be great. Because then I could be a professional bettor. Some people have called me a professional bettor, and at this point, I'll call myself that. I don't give a fuck. Okay? The Euro Cup. If you guys aren't soccer people, fast forward it, but it'll just be very brief. I grew up playing soccer my entire fucking life. Low-key kind of good at it. Kick with my left leg. Scored 2 corner kicks. Bend it like Beckham, bitch. Okay? And I know my soccer a little bit. My brother's way more into it. He still follows like all the European shit and all the Italy shit and all that stuff, right? And the Spanish leagues and all that stuff. I do not. Okay, I watch soccer. Like, I love it. I love playing the sport. It's a lot of fun. Watching it is a fucking snoozer. And but when it comes to the Euro Cup and the World Cup, I guess technically if you separate those every 2 years, I'll place a little bit of money on. And since I think in 2022, I think gambling was legal, but I think I was super new to it, so I barely touched it. But now I know, and I'm confident in certain bets. So over the last 48 hours at the time of this recording, we're up 9.95 units. All right, in the last 48 hours. It's been good. Now, I can tell you, I've gotten lucky on a couple of things. And the first one was Thursday morning. I woke up, just felt Slovenia and Serbia. This is going to be the last thing, and I'll go over to the NASCAR bets. Just fucking wait and just listen, okay? I understand it. There's a bunch of flopping fish on the pitch, okay? There's a bunch of bitches flopping around acting like they get shot, and that's what the Slovenian players were doing on a whole nother level than anybody else I've ever seen. I feel like they almost started having a Serbia and Slovenia war, okay? There was almost more than, it almost seemed like in the stands that Serbians were getting so mad as much as the Palestinians and the Jews hate each other at this point. That's kind of crazy to say, but at the same time, they were the fact that soccer, you can just throw things on the field, and then like the announcers and the refs, like these guys are getting pelted with beer cans or like beer cups, and they're just like, that's a part of the game. It's a part of the game. Look, he's being pelted with things. It's just unbelievable. He has to kick the ball here. And it's like, what? You're telling me that this guy can get in any other sport? People are like, please stop, please stop. In soccer, at this point, it's just known that you're just going to get hit with shit. That was crazy. I've never fucking seen that. I mean, I've seen I've heard of refs getting murdered in Brazil and shit for calling a bad game. So, I mean, it's not that bad. So, I mean, it could be worse. But anyways, the closest bet, I'll just say it to you guys. I'm probably going to stop until we get to like the quarterfinals or the semifinals, and then start placing bets again, because I'm riding high, and I'm a little lower than 10 units, and I'm just gonna quit now while I'm ahead until later on when it's getting a little bit more predictable for games. So anywho, the closest one was Slovenia versus Serbia. I woke up Thursday morning going, I feel like it's gonna be a draw, and the game was, I think, 20 minutes in, 15 minutes in, so it was down to like plus 160. I think it's opened up at like plus 2 something. And I put a unit on it. It was like, it feels like that. Slovenia scores. And that was the only one side that I was like, okay, Serbia should be able to score. Serbia is a very good team. Well, Serbia did not show up today. They were absolute dog poop. They had plenty of opportunities. And I'm sitting there like, just put it in the fucking back of the net. Now, Serbs. Okay. I know a lot of Serbs in my life. Don't like them. Okay, like I'm good acquaintances with a couple of them, and they understand that their attitude is absolutely fucking nuts, and their women are even worse. Okay, they scare the shit out of me, and they're absolutely psychopaths. They were chanting bad shit about Albania and who was it? Albania and another country. Albania was playing. Oh, and Croatia. Like they just hate Albania and Croatia, and then Croatia and Albanian fans were like playing against each other, right? And they were chanting heinous, absolute crazy shit about Serbia, like I guess like wanting to kill them or something. I don't know. And then the Serbian coach was talking about how he wanted to a team's going to take his team out of the tournament if they were reprimanded. Craziness what's going on over there. I'm so happy Canada and US were just like shaking hands, and then we got two fucking retards as the fucking president and the prime minister at this point. But anyways, absolute terrible game by Serbia. Literally, go check it out on whatever social media you have. Serbia with the last play of the game, 95th minute. There's 5 minutes of extra time, and I'm sitting there. I'm just watching my money go down the drain, and I'm like, oh my god, it feels like NASCAR. You just got to sit there for 20 laps and just go, oh my god, all my guys are out of the race or they're like completely dead, and I want to watch the end of the race because I love this. Serbia's got a corner kick. They kick the ball. The shortest fucking guy in front of the net heads it into the net, and it's over. And then that was the final play. They blow the whistle after they scored. And I'm like, oh my god, we cash it, baby. So 1.6 units into the fucking bank account, baby. I gotta say, there's a lot of fun things betting on soccer or whatever. Just because like I feel like it's pretty easy to handicap, man. I mean, I hit like under 8.5 corner kicks. If there's like, I'll just tell this to you guys and I'll go to NASCAR. If there's a high level game like Germany versus Spain at some point, or England versus France, or like we just had Spain versus Italy, it seems to me that those high end games, there's a lot less corner kicks. On average is about 8.5. Like there's about 8 or 9 corner kicks in a game. So the books have it right down the middle. And these high-level games like a Spain and Italy, I think they got 6, but the last 2 were within the last like minute or two and the ref just added that on for literally no reason. I'm like, end the fucking game. What are we doing here? So there was only 4 in the game. So there was a super low one. Now these games like Albania with like, or games like Scotland, like the teams that are in the games like Scotland or Switzerland, what are some other countries in there? These lower tier countries that are trying to make it, they're so offensive. There's not a lot of defense, and these guys are just pounding the ball, and they're not creating the best opportunities, but they're just pounding the ball at the net, getting lots of shots on target. I would bet the over 8.5 pretty much every time on those games. It seems like those lower tier teams just pound fucking like 10, 11, 12, 13 corner kicks. So if you guys want to bet on Euro Cup, I would probably just take the over or under corner kicks. A lot of these games you have to pay the juice for teams to win. But you can find a way. Anyways, let's get to what we were really fucking here for, and that's NASCAR, okay? Now, guys, we usually start it off with Xfinity. I don't have much. You want to know why? Because a guy named Christopher Bell is in the 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Alex Bowman. Now, I don't expect too much out of Alex Bowman. The cars are a lot different, but Christopher Bell at Loudon / New Hampshire is so fucking good. In the Cup Series, Xfinity, everything. So he's like I think I found him at plus 115 to win the race on Bet Rivers. Other than that, he's like minus 110, minus 115. I feel like it's a weekend just to take a break. Don't touch it. I have 3 plays. that I'm just going to take before practice and qualifying, and then I probably won't even touch it. I'm not going to even touch outrights. I'm just going to keep with my positional props, and maybe some race matchups. So the first matchup is -110. I wish I got plus money on it, but Corey Hyman that 26. I mean, the only thing you really have to worry about with Corey Hyman that 26 is that 26, the engine could just blow. But Corey Hyman seems to be able to, on these short tracks, they bring a good car. He drives it, doesn't overdrive the car, and he's -110. I wish it was plus money, my God. But over Jesse Love. Jesse Love's sitting at -120. Jesse Love has not proven me anything on any of these tracks that he can consistently. I think Corey Hyman's going to be top 5. We're going to talk about it in a second. I mean, Corey Hyman's going to be top 7, top 8 all day. Jesse Love, I think he's going to be like a 12th, 13th, 14th place car. So I think Corey Hyman, as long as he keeps his nose clean and doesn't overdrive the car, which I think he's got so much talent, he's going to be in the Cup Series next year. I think that's a beautiful line previous to qualifying, because I think that Corey Hyman's going to out-qualify him. I think Jesse Love and Austin Hill with RCR, they don't qualify the best unless it's at like super speedways, and I wish that you could just bet the shit out of both of them on super speedways to qualify on the pole every time, because you know they're showing up. But yeah, it just seems like Corey Hyman, I feel like you just got to keep betting him top 5 and maybe even top 3, but we'll see. It'll be very interesting. So yeah, we'll go with top 5. Top 5 markets, the only 2 other bets I've got. I'll start off with the shorter odds, and then I'll go to the Carson Kvapil, which is the longer one. But Corey Hyman at plus 325. I think he's available plus 320 on DraftKings as well. He's probably going to qualify inside the top 10. He's going to look fast probably. And Corey Hyman, he'll just work his way. He's so good. And it's really unfortunate that, it's fortunate for us bettors or whatever, that Corey Hyman's probably skipping the Xfinity Series going right to Cup. He would be he can drive anything. And he's an absolute force even when he's doing, he's driving in that 26 so much. It is fucking crazy. It is just nuts. He's getting so much fucking time behind the wheel. And plus 325, I'll take it. I feel like it's coming into play. If he top 5s it this weekend, okay? Quote me on this. Austin Hill last year is the automatic top 5 bet that we were taking. Everybody was taking. When he was like plus 200 or longer. If Corey Hyman top 5s himself this weekend at Loudon, he's an automatic bet for a top 5 on any sort of track, or definitely a short track, because short tracks is his bread and butter, I feel like. These short flat tracks. So he's going to be an automatic bet. And let's get him at plus 325, 2-1 whenever, while we can. Because then once he goes to the Cup Series, he'll be probably irrelevant for a bit. So let's cash bags on Corey Hyman plus 325 for a top 5, and then Carson Kvapil, available on a couple of books, I think, as well as DraftKings. But I got it on Bet365. That's my go-to. Carson Kvapil plus 425. He can drive, man. Do I think he's going to qualify the best? But I think he's going to have a lot of speed. I mean, this weekend it's Christopher Bell's going to be the dominant guy. But he can be there. Like Carson Kvapil is threatening to take the number 9 from Brandon Jones, or maybe even Sammy Smith next year. So, I think he could be there. I don't have a lot of stats on Carson Kvapil. This is why I'm kind of humming and hawing. I don't really have much info to give to you guys. It's a feels play. I mean, Sammy Smith, I want to take him, but it just felt like the juju last week with Iowa, him being from there, longer shot numbers, and he was still a long shot number of like plus 350 or whatever, 325, whatever it was, and he was like top of the board. So keep an eye out for Sammy Smith. Maybe we take him for a top 5 as well, or maybe take him in some matchups if he does have really fast car in practice. Other than that, I don't really have anything for Xfinity Series. I mean, if you'd like to bet your heart out on Christopher Bell, be my fucking guest, but wait till practice and qualifying. I'm telling you. I told you guys last week, and I was on the live show on the what the fuck is the thing called again that I was on? God, that's terrible of me. Anyways, I was on the live show and I said just wait on Christopher Bell, and people were betting Christopher Bell. Now, I think he's going to go win the fucking race. he had probably the best car, and he got screwed on a stupid ass caution from Daniel Hamrick. We posted a fucking reel on at Furlong Eric _ on TikTok and Instagram and everything about that, and how it was such a bullshit caution, and Christopher Bell back-to-back weeks could have won the goddamn race. But he got screwed. So anyways, it happens, but not back-to-back. Gateway and wherever the fuck we were last week. I can't even remember off the top of my head. Oh, Iowa, right. Just said it. Anywho, let's go into the Cup Series bets. I have a lot more here for you guys for the Cup Series, all right? So I'm going to talk about my positional props, going to talk about that, and then we'll get into qualifying stuff, okay? This is the most intriguing one this week. Obviously, Christopher Bell and Martin Truex are opening up as favorites because they're, if it does rain all weekend, the weather is kind of iffy all weekend, but if it does rain, goes to Monday, automatic bet Martin Truex. Monday Martins for a reason. Christopher Bell's going to be really good. He just seems snake bitten. And to take him at these short odds, whether it's 3 or 4 or 5 to 1 or whatever, I would just wait. He could get the pole, but he got the pole here last year and finished 29th. There's a lot. There's numbers out there on guys that are beautiful. And for guys that consistently run really well, I even have data for you guys this week, all right? This is look at Eric, eh? Look at Eric with the fucking data sheets, eh? Shouts out to iFantasy Race. Ryan at iFantasy Race for always putting out all the data and stuff. But, dude, there's numbers on guys. Like Brad Keselowski has finished top 10 in like the last 4 or 5 races there or whatever. I can't even remember off the top of my head. Let me check it real quick. At Loudon. Since 2019, he's finished 10th, 1st, 3rd, 7th, and 5th. And the last two, 7th and 5th, were in the Cup Series. In the next gen, Gen 7 car. And he qualified 9th and 9th. So Brad seems to have been figuring out this qualifying thing now. Definitely at these kind of tracks. So I would kind of get in on him early. The only thing is like lightly. Because if he does qualify bad, he's going to run up there and he's going to be able to get his way up. But the last couple of years, he qualified 1st. It was 6th, 1st, 4th, 11th, 9th. He's figured it out here. So a little sprinkle. I'm going to just give you this early pick. I haven't taken it yet. But an early sprinkle at 16 to 1 for Brad Keselowski. Maybe a top 3. I think he's at plus 480 on FanDuel. I'm just going to toss that out there before I get into my actual bets that I've already taken and put money on. Brad Keselowski in a Red Sox colorway. Go check it out on RFK. I'm not a Red Sox fan, but that car with the color chrome red 6 on there. Oh my God. Please make a diecast of that Lionel Racing. Please make shirts of it. Everything. I fucking want it all. And we'll break it down on my fucking social media of how beautiful of a shirt it would be. And get Harris Lou on social media to do the fucking design for the shirt. Because, oh my God, it would be fucking nasty. All right, you little nasties. So, yeah, we'll move away from Brad Keselowski now. So, the first top 10 I have is Bubba Wallace. He's plus 145, plus 110, plus 120, hovering around there. The best line I found. And he moved a little bit on Bet365. But Bubba Wallace plus 200 for a top 10. Bubba Wallace has finished 8th and 3rd in the last, or 3rd and 8th in the last 2 races here in the Gen 7 car. Now, Bubba Wallace, let me pull up his stats here for Loudon. Previous to Gen 7, he was dog shit here. But Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, and Bubba Wallace, they all show up usually every single week with the exact same kind of car. Basically the exact same setup, and Bubba Wallace on these short flat tracks, Richmond and Loudon and what else? Phoenix, he kind of shows up at a little bit just outside the top 10, but it's a different kind of track. It's not the same as a Loudon or a Martinsville and all this stuff. He kind of shows up on, right? And when Bubba's good at a track, as long as they don't have pit road, this is the only thing. This is why we're not going heavy on him. But if he doesn't have pit road issues, if he doesn't get fucked up with strategy from a stupid caution like we did at Richmond because he was running like 3rd or 4th place, and then a stupid fucking caution comes out when they're trying to run their strategy. He shows up on these tracks, and Denny Hamlin is very good at these tracks as well. So they're going to talk to each other. They're going to have a lot of communication. They're going to help each other out in the sims. And Bubba qualifying 4th and 8th at these tracks, or at Loudon in the last 2 years, and then finishing 3rd and 8th. That's a good day. And you know where that is? The fucking top 10, baby. So plus 200, where he's plus 145 or plus 120 or whatever on other books. Bet365 had him at plus 220 at one point, and then it got bet out, and it fucking went to 2-1 still. I'll still fucking take it. That's a beautiful number for a guy that shows up at these tracks. You just pray to God they have a good day. Thinking about if I see the speed in practice, I might take him in some matchups. There was a matchup that he was plus money at one point to Kyle Busch at like plus 100 or plus 115, and then it got drifted out to minus 115, and they're both sitting at that. And Kyle Busch, I would have hammered the shit on Bubba, hammered the shit out of it. But it got switched, and I just don't want to take that right now. And Kyle Busch could just randomly show up at this point, because Bubba's he's just a streaky guy. We all know this at this point. Bubba Wallace is a streaky guy. If I pull up some numbers for you, Bubba Wallace is 14th overall in total speed rankings on shorter flat tracks in 2024, and his New Hampshire cheat sheet heat chart. Okay, try and say that 10 times fucking fast. New Hampshire 2023 heat chart. He was 11th and finished 8th. So Bubba's going to continuously show up, all right, all the time. So I feel like this top 10 feels like, I don't like talking about statistics, eh? I don't like talking statistics. It just feels too proper for me. We're just going to lay out bets, and we all just ride together, and we die together. And when we live on the high together, we all live on the high together. How about that? Let's be on the top of the mountain. And then when you lose 9 units like last week, you just fucking get pushed off the face of the earth and you die all together. How about that, huh? Fucking Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson. We're not even going to go into it. Anyways, Bubba Wallace plus 200, Bet365, top 10. Chase Elliott. Now, I want to... If you are not... He opened up at 16-1. I'm hugging the microphone right now. Check it out on YouTube, HOT PASS Podcast. If you are not in Chase Elliott at any point this weekend, you better be looking in my eyes on the YouTube channel right now. Are you fucking stupid? What else does he need to prove to you guys? The motherfucker's back. The motherfucker's back, baby. Chase Elliott, plus 250 for a top 5. Feels like a lock. What was his stats? Motherfucker. Give me this. Rolling up in it, baby. His stats on shorter flat tracks this year are insane. Where did he post it? Going to iFantasy Race on Twitter. Best drivers at shorter flat tracks in 2024 average running position. Chase Elliott first. Boom. That's all I have to say. Suck my cock. Did you hear me? You want me to say it again? Best drivers at shorter flat tracks in 2024 average running position. Chase Elliott number 1. Suck my cock. What did I say? Suck my cock. And don't forget the nuts. So, also, let's scroll down here. Best drivers in 2024 at shorter flat tracks. Driver ratings. Chase Elliott, 3rd. Who else is ahead of him? Bell and Blaney. And those two guys have had their ass eaten on Gateway. Okay? Bell, fucked on strategy because Daniel Hemrick decides to get in the wall. Blaney, he's either there or he's not there. And Penske's like this, fucking roller coaster. And who's going to be there late in the race? Chase Elliott. Good pit crew. I think they said he has the best pit crew. He has the top tier team next to Joe Gibbs Racing, but Hendrick Motorsports. And Chase Elliott has been known to get it done at these kind of tracks his entire career. Expect him to get his second win of the year this weekend. The only thing that scares me is Ford's figuring their shit out, Penske's figuring their shit out, and Joe Gibbs Racing is looking for a bounce back week after fucking the disastrous week they had last week in Iowa. So, because they were bad. Ty Gibbs was down a lap. He was irrelevant. Christopher Bell got fucked. Denny Hamlin absolutely butt fucked. And then Martin Truex fist fucked on a consistent basis on the weekend that he decided to say he was going to retire. they bring that piece of shit car. But you also know who's on the shorter flat track driver rating? Who's in 8th? Brad Keselowski. Just want to let you know. Brad Keselowski in average running position is also 5th. Just to let you know. Just wanted to give you that tidbit of information ahead of Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin, who have won the majority of these races. Just FYI out there. Okay. Anyways. So we got Chase Elliott top 5 plus 250. Bet 365 is where I got him. So I don't have anything for top 3. Before practice and qualifying, I might take Brad Keselowski plus 480. I just don't want to have too much stakes in the game. This has been my issue, is I take a lot before practice and qualifying, and then I'm like, I don't want to have to deposit more or have to hum and haw about how guys are going to do in the bets I already have. So I'm going to wait and see about Brad. Maybe last minute before practice and qualifying, I end up taking Brad Keselowski top 3 at plus 480. He's just ran so well. In that paint scheme, everything just feels right about Brad. So the top 3 market we haven't touched yet. Let's go to the outrights. William Byron, 20-1. Now, William Byron has never finished in the top 20 at Loudon. I understand. Crazy talk. But now he's like down to 14-1, 12-1, 11-1 on some books. I got him early on in the week at Bet365. And it's just because like William Byron, there's a late race caution and he's kind of running so-so. And he's got good speed in these style of tracks. You know, he's won at multiple different tracks. So just being able to get William Byron at 20-1 where he's having, yes, a couple of bad weeks or whatever. But 20-1 was crazy. So I just put half a unit, just a little sprinkle on it. Nothing crazy. Didn't bet my whole life on it because of his finishing average here. But just the discrepancies on other books. He opened up at like 16 or 14-1 on majority of books, and he was at 20-1. When I see that big of a discrepancy, I sprinkle just a wee bit on it. Let's have another sip. But the guy I just feel right, and we talked about him for the top 5 market, is Chase Elliott 14-1. He did open up at 16-1, but I'm getting early on him real quick. So I'm just going to give you these numbers real quick, baby. So at Loudon. Now, don't look at last year, because remember, last year Chase Elliott was hurt. He came back, didn't have the best year. He qualified 18th, but finished 12th, so just outside the top 10, even when he was not having a good year. This is a couple of weeks after he came back and wasn't having a good year, and he still finishes half decent. 12th is not the best, but it's half decent for a guy that was out with a busted up leg, supposedly busted up leg. If you want to know more information about supposedly busted up leg, DM me and I'll tell you. But the previous year, in the first year we were at Loudon, qualified second, finished the second. Not the first time we were at Loudon. Let me just get that check. For the Gen 7 car. Finished the second, started second, finished second. Oh, really? And then last year he finished his 12th, and he was hurt early on in the year, and didn't even have like the best finishing like ever anywhere on any track, really. Let me just remember that. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna take 14-1 on Chase Elliott. No fucking doubt, dude. No doubt. I think he's gonna qualify really well. He's qualified really well at Richmond. Gateway, it seems like the Fords kind of show up, and Gateway, the Hendrick Motorsports isn't really bringing a good car for some reason. They just haven't figured it out. But Richmond, Phoenix, what else we got? Martinsville. Where did he finish? Second or third at Martinsville? Like these similar style of tracks. You just go. He's going to qualify inside the top 5 probably. And these numbers are going to be gone. And you want to try and beat the sports books. And I think he's going to come back out. If he qualifies in the top 5, it's going to be like a 9-1, 8-1. Maybe the longest he might be able to find is a 10-1. 14-1 is just too juicy right now that I fucking love it, baby. Give it to me. Chase Elliott all fucking day. Now, those are the plays, the main plays. Top 10, Bubba Wallace plus 200. Chase Elliott top 5 plus 250. Both on Bet365. William Byron 20-1. That's long gone now. I wouldn't touch him at this point for anything really. And then Chase Elliott 14-1 on FanDuel, Bet365, and BetMGM outright. So this is the one. So last week we got beat the fuck up in qualifying matchups. with the rain and everything, and the system that they decided to do was fucking stupid. All right. And you know what we're doing this week? Go to the YouTube. We got the money shirt back out. I only bring it out when I want to have a good week. Like every week we want to have a good week. But bouncing back from a bad week, we bring out the money shirt. Okay? Go check it out. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. You got to check out the money shirt, baby. Look at that right there. Rusty Wallace. Miller Lite. Go check it out. All right? And then we've got the 23-11 hat for some juju for qualifying. But this is a qualifying matchup that I feel crazy that it's plus 120. Chase Elliott has qualified extremely well on these short flat tracks. Now, Ryan Blaney could go and pull this bitch, but Chase Elliott over Ryan Blaney at plus 120 in qualifying. I'm going to give you a case here. Chase Elliott, before last year, obviously because he was hurt at Loudon, or before Loudon, he qualified second. And then the Gen 6, the last two races before we went to the Gen 7, he was third in both of those. He's figured something out here. I think he's going to qualify top 5. Ryan Blaney has not qualified consistently well here. I understand that the Fords are starting to figure their things out. Ryan Blaney, qualifying really well over the last couple of weeks. Definitely these style of tracks. It scares you a little bit. He qualified on the pole at Bristol, which isn't the most comparable track, but he did really well at Richmond as well. And he's kind of figured it out. But on this track, he hasn't really been able to figure it out. To be honest, I'm taking his teammate to win the pole rather than him. Just because of the number and because Joey Logano's qualified better here on a consistent basis, way better than Ryan Blaney. Excuse me, I burped, my bad. But Chase Elliott has just consistently qualified way better than him on all these tracks, and has been consistent on these style of tracks. To get plus money, I'm going to take it. Let's put a little sprinkle of a unit on it, and then hopefully it hits, because if none of our pole bets hit, we lose just a little bit on the pole winners and everything. But Chase Elliott, that's my take on it. It's only because it's plus money. If it was minus money, I would not be touching it. But it just feels right with how well Chase Elliott's been able to qualify at these style of tracks. And HMS, like Kyle Larson, doesn't really qualify the best here. He could go pole it out of thin air. But like Chase Elliott qualifies better than Kyle Larson, William Byron, and Alex Bowman all combined together. Chase Elliott, this is his bread and butter for some reason. He just figures it out on these tracks, and he can bring a good car and wrap the corners really well. So we're looking for him to do that better than Ryan Blaney. So plus 120 on Caesar Sportsbook. For the pole. Now, I think on a lot of books, Martin Truex, you can find him 3-1, 3.5-1. Christopher Bell, 3-1, 3.5-1. Even as bad as 2.5-1. And that's because Christopher Bell is really good at qualifying. I'd rather take Christopher Bell on any mile and a half to qualify on the pole rather than the short tracks. Martin Truex has qualified, first and second or whatever the last 2 years here. So they're really good. And Toyotas are really good. But there's other Toyotas out there. Not including Denny Hamlin, because Denny Hamlin has not qualified the best here either. But there's 2 other Toyotas out there that I'm confident in that can get it done. And they show up at Richmond. They're in the DraftKings cars. But I'll talk about the first one here. Tyler Reddick, 10-1. He's sitting about 8-1 on a bunch of books. But on BetMGM, I'm available, I guess, this week, because BetMGM is a little inconsistent when it comes to fucking NASCAR bets, definitely with qualifying. And this week, they gave us way better lines on qualifying than any other book. So Tyler Reddick, 10-1 on BetMGM to win the pole. These are little sprinkle bets, because, as I said, Martin Truex and fucking Christopher Bell could go win the pole like that and just fuck us all. Kyle Larson, too. But Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace qualify consistently inside the top 10 at Loudon. They're in the Bubba Wallace in the DraftKings car. I think Tyler Reddick might be too. I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't been able to see it yet. But 10-1 is better than 8-1 on other books, so I'm going to take them. And the Toyotas very well could have a really good car to be able to get the pole. I think it is going to be the Toyotas. But then we also have Bubba Wallace at 20-1. He's sitting at like 12-1, 14-1 on other books. I think 12-1 So 20 to 1 is a way longer. And you could take a little bit less of a sprinkle than you were going to put on a 12 to 1. Because I wouldn't have taken 12 to 1. So 20 to 1 is crazy. So we put a little sprinkle on that. But let's jump back up. And Joey Logano qualified 4th here last year. First year in the Gen 7 car, didn't qualify the best, qualified just outside the top 10. But he qualified 4th last year. He's been a pole king this year. I mean, yeah, he got caught with the glove and everything, and it kind of fucking went away after that. But he ends up polling at Sonoma, which isn't a comparable track. But if Ryan Blaney can pole a bunch of races and qualify really well, Joey Logano's been up there. And I think he can do it at 10 to 1, just a little tiny little sprinkle. Joey Logano can pull his ass off and then all of a sudden just fall outside the top 10. Go get the pole, Joey, and then die in a hole for the rest of the day because I don't have anything on you until you guys can figure your shit out. So 10 to 1 for Joey Logano to get the pole is a beautiful number compared to 8, 7, or like 8.5 to 1 you can find on other books. And then the final one, it might seem crazy, and I only put like $10 or $20 on. But Michael McDowell, what pisses me off at Caesar Sportsbook Wednesday night, he was 100 to 1, got bet down to like 25 to 1, which is crazy. But on Bet365, they still have him at 50 to 1. There's no statistics saying that Michael McDowell is going to pull this bitch. Did we see him pulling it at Gateway? Hail to the no. Nobody was on it. Early on in the year, we were all on him to pull stuff. People were winning pull bets all the time on him. Dude. At this point, if he's a long number, just take him. Just take him. Put $10 on it and just take him. So we're putting $20 on him at 50 to 1 on Bet365 to win $1,000. Fuck it. Why not take a stab at it? Because Ford are figuring it out, and Ford could go qualify really well here. And I think Michael McDowell could qualify inside the top 10. So that's my plays on that. Those are the qualifying bets. That's the end of the Hot Pass podcast. I'll break these down. Qualifying matchups. Chase Elliott over Ryan Blaney at plus 120. Chase Elliott has qualified extremely well here and is way more consistent in qualifying on these shorter flat tracks, and it's plus money. Pole winners, Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, both at 10 to 1 on BetMGM. Bubba Wallace, 20 to 1 on BetMGM. Don't take him if you got a way shorter line than that. And then Michael McDowell, 50 to 1 on Bet365. Just a tiny little wee little salt-based sprinkle on there. Okay, baby? Those are the bets. That has been the Hot Pass podcast. I hope you guys enjoy the podcast so far. It's been 40 minutes. Thank you for listening all the time. Go like, rate, share, subscribe to the podcast. It's hot as fucking balls in here. Okay. Help me out. Go over there. Wherever you get your audio podcast. Go to Spotify, Apple. Leave a rate on there. Hit the notification bell so every time, Friday mornings, Monday mornings, you guys can get the podcast in your goddamn ears. Go to the Hot Pass podcast on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and like and share the podcast and comment to help the algorithm. Help me, help you, help us all. So we can grow this podcast into something full-time, and you guys can always listen to my fucking dumbass and look at my super sick outfits, and we can get more of them. Go to @FurlongEric_ on social media. X, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure to follow me there. I'm always on Twitter /X and Instagram. TikTok, not so much. Post every once in a while. Post a reel. But Twitter, if you guys want to get a hold of me, Twitter and Instagram is the best way to get a hold of me. So @FurlongEric_. And then go to the link tree in the bio. See my cup bets. Always. Truck and Xfinity is exclusive to the Friday morning betting show. And then the Action Network, you can always see all the plays, whether it's different sports, whether it's UFC, fucking Euro Cup right now, and the NASCAR Cup Series bets. All my plays, my early plays are always on there. Log them on there. And if you follow me, you'll get notifications when I place bets. So go to the Action Network. The link tree is in the bio of wherever you get your podcast. And I love you guys. Genuinely. I'm going back to work. It's going to be a lot tougher to be able to get these out, but I'm going to work hard to be able to get all the content out on X and Instagram and TikTok. Put the videos on YouTube. Back to the grind. I appreciate you guys over the last couple of months giving me some sort of purpose to be able to work at this and try and keep growing this community. So I really do appreciate it, guys. It's been a wild couple of months. Gone on a lot of trips. Had a lot of fun. Met a lot of you guys at races. And I appreciate you guys listening, man. It means the world. So This has been Eric of the Hot Pass Podcast. I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Make sure to follow me because I could add some extra bets later on in the week. All right, love you guys. We'll talk to you on Monday. Peace. See you.